This is from Proverbs 24. I went past the field of the sluggard, past the vineyard of the man who lacks judgment. Thorns had come up everywhere. The ground was covered with weeds. The stone wall was in ruin, and I applied my heart to what I observed and learned a lesson from what I saw. Back in 1991, while I was visiting Israel, we were on one of those tour buses. And at one point they took us out into the countryside, and it just seemed like passing our window was vineyard after vineyard after vineyard. And then an olive grove. A fruitful, productive vineyard is a thing of beauty. But here's the thing about vineyards. They don't just happen by themselves. They don't spring up by accident. Someone is behind them. This is what's behind the statement by the writer of Proverbs. He says, I was walking past a field and it was a mess. There were thorns all over the place, grounds covered with weeds, walls falling down. To understand the angst behind this proverb, you have to understand what you're dealing with. In the ancient Middle East, a piece of land that was capable of growing crops for the feeding of people was the most valuable thing in the world. To be an owner of a vineyard was to be a lucky guy or girl. And it was to be blessed. It was an opportunity of a lifetime. You see, but understanding entropy starts right here, with the failure to comprehend that this is my one and only chance for existence on this earth. My friends, everybody gets a vineyard. When you were born, you received a vineyard, your body, your mind, your will, some relationships, some financial resources, a chance to do some good work, a soul. Everybody gets a vineyard. And this is it. This is my one and only shot at a vineyard on this planet. It's an opportunity of a lifetime, and I don't think I have to do it all alone, because I know that God will partner with me. But God will never force any one of us to take care of our vineyard. God never forces anyone into action. As the writer said, I was walking past this vineyard and I thought what might have been. It could have been a thing of beauty. It could have been a source of pride and joy, of income to the owner. It could have been a blessing all the way around, because in that culture, when there was a place that would grow things for people to eat or for people to drink, it was a blessing for everyone around. But it wasn't. It fell tragically short of what it might have been, but then I wondered why. Was there some catastrophe? Was there a drought or a flood or a fire or some other kind of disaster? No, it was just sheer negligence on the part of the guy that owned the vineyard. He had no idea what he had. He was just throwing away the opportunity of a lifetime. That's the strange power of entropy. It's not even a thing. It's nothing. It's neglect. And people throw their lives around because of it every day. I think of a man that I know, in honor of Proverbs, and sluggard, I'm going to call him Sluggo. His real name isn't Sluggo. He's a great guy. I really like being with him. But he's significantly discontent in his work. He feels that he could have a much more rewarding and challenging job, and he sometimes talks about it. And I said, well, you could do something about that, Sluggo. There's always a reason that he can't. He's convinced that there's a reason why the supervisor won't develop and won't promote him. And he's convinced that the organization is too political and he's not going to get involved in political things and political games. We talk about how he could get a job somewhere else, and he says, nah, that's too risky. He has these grandiose dreams for what he could be doing, what he ought to be doing, but he won't take a single step from where he is. It's his vineyard. Sluggo's a single guy, and he'd like to have a romantic relationship. But Sluggo doesn't deal in reality. He says he wants to have a supermodel to be in a romantic relationship with. But Sluggo, my friends, to be honest, is not supermodel material. It's not realistic. They'll say that the relationship is never going to develop, but he could be in a relationship like that if he wanted to be. But he won't take the steps. We'll talk about that, and I'll say, Sluggo, a good Christian counselor would be very helpful for you. And of course, he has a response: too much money, it would take too much time, and they wouldn't understand. He doesn't like his vineyard. He doesn't like his life very much. He doesn't like his work very much. He doesn't like the relationships, situations in his life very much. And the worst part of it is, my friend Sluggo blames God for the condition of his vineyard. He really does feel that God has not treated him fairly. This is his one and only shot at life. Now, I know him well, and I feel like it's taking him by the lapels sometimes. Sluggo, this is your one and only life, and it's just draining away. It doesn't have to be this way. I'll tell you one proverb that will change his life. And as we're going through this, one of the things I'd encourage you to do is pick a proverb that seems to fit you. It kind of causes your heart to beat a little faster when you hear it, and addresses something that you haven't put your finger on in a long time. Maybe it gives you hope. Maybe it produces a little pain. But something inside resonates with you as you hear the proverb. This one's for Sluggo. If he could get this one tattooed on his brain, it would change his life. Those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies lack judgment. What this really is about is living in reality, trusting God to work the land I actually have, my life, my body, my relationships. But those who live in fantasy land just live another day in life. People have fantasies. They say, I want a perfect marriage. I want a perfect job. I want a perfect circle of friends. I want a perfect career, perfect education. And if I can't have that, then I won't do anything. Because I'm really too advanced for the vineyard that I've been given. The writer of Proverbs says, start with reality, my friend. Work the land that you're on, your life, your relationships, your work. This is it. This is my vineyard, the only one I'm ever going to have. And if anything's going to be different, it won't be because the Vineland fairy comes and sprinkles fairy dust on it. It will be because I ask God, help me. What is the next step that you want me to take? According to the writer of Proverbs, here's the way our minds work. A way that allows entropy to go unchallenged. If it does this much damage, then you want to have somebody who can keep on living in a vineyard like that. Proverbs 6:9, how long will you lay there, you sluggard? Notice that these verses about the sluggard have kind of an edge to them. It's not that the writer's trying to be cruel to sluggards. He wants the readers, you and I, to see the danger of this pathway. And there's often a sting. How long will you lay there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. And then one day disaster breaks down the other end. That word keeps repeating. It's about how sluggards justify inactivity. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of hands. All these are pictures of passive inactivity. How much longer does the sluggard say that he's been born? Just a little. I'll take some action soon. And a little turns into weeks, turns into months, and sometimes into years.